YouTube, out and about again. As you know, this has kind of turned into a bit of a reality show sometimes anyway. I can't actually remember what it was I was going to talk about. Yeah, I'm off to drop a guitar off in East Kilbride, David, and then I'm going to see my pal Scott, which is a guy that I tried to do a sort of chat showy type, you know, collection rig rundown type thing, I don't know, about a month ago probably, and it didn't work out very well because I was using the GoPro, and when I went home and watched it, I don't know, probably about half an hour long, maybe a bit longer than that, you know, and basically he was handing me his guitars, talking a wee bit about them, but he was not on screen ever, and I was very aware when I was doing it. I did do a little, I chopped up bits of it and stuck it in a video, I don't know, a month ago or whatever, when I was getting handed the guitar and going, yes, it's a Gibson SG, and then I just cut it. Next one, yeah, Fender Strat cut, you know, just doing that, because when I was watching it back, I was being so horrible about all his guitars, but he was laughing. I was joking, you know, I mean, but because you couldn't see him laughing or really hear him properly, it just looked like I was going, you know, it's like, you know, He's that tinky one. He's that, yeah, you know. It's like, you know, his '69 Strat. You know, it's like, but you know, it was all done in good humour. But I was aware that anyone who was watching that, who didn't know that I was a bit of a loony and incredibly sarcastic, would just assume that I was just the nastiest piece of work in the world. So I cut it out. So this time I've taken my laptop. So I've got like a monitor screen to see, and we'll both be in the video this time, hopefully, see what happens anyway, and run through his guitars. I felt it was a little bit weird because he was talking to me off screen as well, which made it kind of a bit strange, you know, so this way I can sort of direct it, because we can both look at the laptop screen and see what's on the screen. You know, the GoPro is a little bit I've actually got one of the expensive GoPros that does actually have a screen on the back, but that's in the back. So yeah, all I'm doing just now is just looking at the camera, assuming it's on. Well, I've actually got a wee digital counter telling me it's been running for 2.5 minutes so far. It doesn't tell me it's working, but it tells me it's doing something. Yeah, I've also, he has one of his favourite guitars is a Yamaha SG200. Which I think he spent quite a lot of money getting. I think he got the neck. It was I think there was something very wrong with the fretboard. I'll probably talk about it in the video. And it's just how different it is to mine. His is still white. Mine, or his is still the original white. Mine has been stripped at some point, so it's a sort of you know, wood colour. Actually done a really good job of it. My pal John, I swapped it in the last trade Tuesday. And tomorrow I'm going and doing another trade Tuesday. I've swapped the Raleigh Les Paul, the black Les Paul. It's a really nice guitar. It's one of those ones that I wasn't really sure how to deal with it, because it's a make no one has ever heard of. You know, it's like I wasn't sure whether it would be difficult to shift. You know, it's like unless you trust me, who's telling you this is a fantastic guitar, and well, you know, it should have been like, I don't know, like if it had been an Epiphone, it'd be like 400 or 500 quid straight off the bat, no problem, because it's got a brand you recognise on it. This one, Raleigh, I still don't really know that much about them, but basically if you see a Raleigh, it's worth going and seeing, because I think it's the sort of thing you can pick up for pretty bargainous prices, because nobody knows what it is. Assuming you know your guitars, it's definitely worth going and playing it. If you see one, you know, for 200 quid or whatever, and it's local enough for you to go and play it, it's worth going and have a look at it, and I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. So I've swapped it for an Ibanez SA series, which is, it kind of looks a bit like, well, I think it's probably the other way around, my Yamaha RGXA2, which is the one with light bulbs in it. It's kind of like that. So it's like, I think the SA is based on the original, I think it used to be called a Sabre, or maybe that's what the S in SA stands for. I don't know what the A stands for, but you know, Sabre Advanced, something like that. I know that the RG stands for Roadster Guitar, or originally stood for Roadster Guitar. because I've got the first ever Roadster. I've got one from the first year they made Roadster guitars, even though it's not the same shape as Steve Vai's Gem. It still says Roadster on the headstock, but the sticker on the back of the headstock gives you the model number. That's the year they changed it from RS 500s to RG 500. Mine's an RG 530, so it's kind of the old Ibanez shape, you know, with the curved headstock, kind of like my Blazer. I need to look that guitar out again. It'd be a great one to play gigs with. The only issue I've got with it is it's got there's two humbuckers and a Floyd Rose. Floyd Rose is excellent on that one. It just stays in tune forever. Although a lot of people say, oh, Floyd Rose stay in tune forever, this one does. Partly maybe because it's flush to the body, because before they developed the idea that you could lift them up the way. So it's just down bend only. So I've obviously got it just set up really tight, so you can just, same as what you can do with a Strat, but this one's locking. The first Ibanez ever to have a licensed Floyd Rose, I think it's 1986. Whereas in 1985 you could buy pretty much the same guitar, but it had like an Ibanez type, their own take on a Floyd Rose, not an actual Floyd Rose. Where am I going? I'm going to East Coast, right. Sorry, not thinking. I'm basically using you for company, someone to talk to when I'm on my wee outing. Yeah, so I've swapped the Rally Les Paul for an Ibanez SA series HSS. It's got one of the true dual pickups in it, which is interesting. I've actually got one in my parts box, but I forgot about it, never actually put it in anything. So what the true duo is, it's like it's a humbucker, right? But one of the coils is like a stacked humbucker, so it's actually 3 coils. Now I've said that, I'm wondering if I could wire it in some crazy ways. But so when you go into single coil mode, you're not really going into single coil mode, you're going into stacked. You know, the bridge, one of the 2 coils is stacked, so you get like a hum cancelling stacked single coil, and then when you go into humbucker mode, it takes out the stacked, the bottom coil, and then puts on the other one to make it just like a normal humbucker. So that should be interesting for that as well. Also, the guitars are very, very thin and easy to play. Maybe lacking a bit in character, which I feel a wee bit with quite a lot of the Ibanez suffer from that a little bit. There's a point where if you go too much for ergonomics and functionality, you end up with something that's just not super exciting or inspiring. You know what I mean? It's a sort of weird one. I'm trying to remember how to count. I'm just going to drive roughly east and roughly south and east, and I'm sure I'll end up at East Kilbride. I'll remember where I'm going on the way. I might be picking up another couple of guitars, but the guy has ordered a new guitar. He wants me to set up one of his guitars, and he's ordered a new one, but it's not coming till later on this afternoon, so I might pick it up on my way back. I've not decided yet. Yeah, so I think I'll probably just sandwich this into some video. I don't have a video to do. Well, tonight I've already got a video going up about my blatant failure to explain how simple a coil adder system is. I built it was an Infinity Strat body and a Squire Showmaster neck. So basically it just looks like a tobacco burst Strat, but it's got a reverse headstock. And before I assembled it, I wired up the scratch plate. So I've done a video looking at the back of that and trying to explain it in simple terms. And the thing is, it's a really simple thing. I think I've got quite good at explaining what it does from a control point of view, but when you're trying to explain what it does pointing at the wires, it suddenly became very difficult, even though it's not difficult, it's just half a dozen really simple things in a row. A lot of guitar wiring's like that. It's a great, if you're interested in having a look at or having a shot at doing some fancy wiring, there's a site called GuitarElectronics.com, which I think it's an American site. You know, they sell pots and wires and stuff like that, but it's obviously it's not really worth buying pots and wires and stuff from America if you're in Scotland. But it's got good diagrams, and it's like a lot of the stuff I've done to start with was based on their diagrams, and I like their diagrams because they weren't. I'll put a link in the video of this if I remember. GuitarElectronics.com, I'm sure it is, and it shows you pictures or drawings of the pots. So you're not looking at like circuit diagrams. You're actually looking at what the component looks like, and you can see the wires going from A to B or whatever, and you can sort of combine them. So you know, you look up. It's got lots of different options, but you can have like, there's one with a coil split for the bridge, and then there's one that's got a phase switch, and you can do. So you just take this bit and then add it onto this bit, and that's basically what I started off doing before I started doing some of the more mad stuff. They don't have a coil adder in their system. I don't think anyone else has ever really thought of that. I think people are a wee bit scared of the fact that how many sounds do you want on a guitar? 25. That's a bit complicated. I understand that. I find that a wee bit with amps. You know, if an amp's got more than gain, volume, bass, middle, treble, presence, I start getting a bit confused if it's got switches. Because obviously, even on something, you know, like the ones I don't like in the studios, like the Marshall JCM 2000, it's basically pretty simple. You don't have to use all the parts. It's just, especially when you go into a studio, you don't know who was using the app before. You see, you're sitting looking at it, the thing's 3 channels, and some of the knobs are shared and some of them aren't, and there's lots of things that are on, and there's all these different gain stages, and you're just like, I just want to sound like an amp. Just give me gain, volume, and an EQ. That's all I need. I probably don't even need the EQ, to be honest. So I'm just now contemplating for this gig, which is outdoor, whether I can get away with taking the wee Marshall that says After the End on it, because it's got the band logo on it, or whether I should just take the big Monster, the one that sits next to it. The problem with the big Monster is it weighs an absolute ton, and it's like I have to unbolt the seats of this car to make it fit. But it's also the fact I've got to carry the thing out to the car, and I don't know. So the negative sides, the positive sides about the After the End amp is fits on the back seat. It's got wheels, loads of handles. It doesn't matter if it gets rained on. I'm not really that bothered about it. So there's your positives for the 150 watt one. The negatives for that are, is it loud enough? Whereas the big one, positives are, it's loud enough, it's 400 watt and it sounds like an aeroplane taking off. It's really, really, really loud. The negative sides of that are, it's a nightmare. I've got to unbolt the seats from the car, and it weighs an absolute ton, and it doesn't have the band logo on it. Another thing, but looking at that again, what's the point in having a 400 watt monster bass amp and not using it when I've got it? And even at this gig as well, there's no problem with me taking it down a couple of days before, you know, so I don't have to do it on the night and then even leaving it for a couple of days and going back and getting it the following a couple of days later or something. It's my pal's house where it's right there, so I can just leave it in his garage and it'll be fine. So I need to weigh up that. I think that was really a thing, which I think I'm going to sway with going for the big one, just for the sake of actually having an opportunity to use it. I bought the wee one, not kind of by accident, to be honest. I thought it was a wee Marshall bass amp for the house. I thought, oh, that's fantastic, 150 watt, nice. And it's exactly the same knob layout as the big one. So it's got, like, you know, all the knobs are the same. I think the big one's got, it's got a switch that turns on the EQ, whereas the wee one doesn't, and there's a wee bit more DI options. I think it's got like a line level and a couple of things like that, but basically it's got the valve preamp thing, the gain, all in the same order, and it sounds really good. So I think I've talked myself into the excuse for that, because if I'm doing a gig, like a normal gig, we're playing for, you know, half an hour or whatever, I don't really want to be lugging 2 big massive super cabinets about and wait and then have to carry it and do it all on the one night. Whereas this time I've got the opportunity, yeah, okay, I'm going to take the big amp. There's the decision made live on the spot. Right, I'm not going to Uddingston first this time, so I'm probably not going the right way. Yeah. So I'm actually finding myself getting quite busy now. I'm not complaining though. Just that I'm struggling a little bit with guitars. I've got guitars sitting there that have been kind of overdue now. But even at that, I'm not including ones for me, you know, like my projects. They are all, there's lots of them sitting overdue, but it's like, when's I've got an acoustic with my pal Ian that I still need to do. I did go in and I just want the action brought down a bit, so I think I got a Fender acoustic. Nice guitar. But he wants the action brought down a little bit. So I adjusted the truss rods the day before yesterday. And then I'm thinking of shaving a bit off the bottom of the, you know, taking the plastic bridge out, shaving a bit off the bottom, putting it back in again to lower it down. But what I decided would be the sensible thing to do would be adjust the truss rod, wait a couple of days to make sure it's not going to move again, and then adjust it just to get it as right as possible. Yeah, I'm trying to be professional here. The acoustics are still a little bit of a mystery to me. Not really, but I do appreciate, you know, sometimes I've done adjustments on, you know, if a guitar's got like a really, it wasn't bad by any means, but if a guitar's got a really needs the truss rod adjusted on an acoustic, you know, it's like a banana. So you tighten it down until it's playing perfect, and then you leave it a week. The neck's caught up with your truss rod adjustment, and it's actually now got a back bow. So I'm just don't want that to happen. I contacted another guy last night when I commented on one of the videos. A guy who I think lives a couple of doors down from the guy who I just did that vintage Les Paul for, because that puts up to 4 people in Milton of Campsie that are kind of, I don't know if they've been aware of my videos and are mad guitarists. And Milton of Campsie is not a big place. I think I saw somewhere it's 3,000 people, and it's like having 4 people that are within, 3 of them are probably within 300 metres, and then there's another one that's maybe 500 metres away. it's quite ridiculous just how many wee guitar-y folk there are kicking about, and it's just a wee village. So I mean, I think that's honestly just the same pretty much anywhere you go. I bet you there's somebody else on if your street's got more than 30 houses on it, I bet you there's somebody else on that street that's got a room full of guitars. I don't think any of these 4 folk have a guitar. You know, I don't know how many people have a guitar. I don't think there's that many people, unless you're just starting out or you're maybe quite young. There's nobody, you know, of a certain age who's into guitars that has 1 or 2. You know, you're talking half a dozen. Everyone's got half a dozen, 10, something like that. Rocking. I think I've probably rabbled enough. 20 minutes. Okay. I'm nearly at my destination. Rock on. I don't know where I'll stick this out. I might just stick it out during the day on Saturday. I might do a Monty Python type start for it somewhere. Interesting. Catch you later. I just got a text there. Looks like the gig I was talking about there has been cancelled, or not cancelled, delayed. Don't think COVID is going to allow it, really. It's not an illegal rave. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to be that. It's like, fair enough if the police were going to come and shut us down for being too noisy, even though I'm pretty sure Ali has, in fact, Ali said that he's invited all his neighbours that are within 2 miles of him. So, you know, whether they would have turned up or not is a different thing. But, you know, if you say we're having a music festival, so it's going to be noisy for one night, I think as long as you're friendly with everyone, nobody's really going to care about that. If it's one night in, I think it's 30 years or something, he said he'd owned that house. So, but I think, to be honest, it's a sensible thing. It does mean that a couple of things have worked out. I'm already seeing bright sides to it. It means that Cranking House, which is the band I play guitar in, will probably have enough to not have to do any covers in the set. We'll have more chance of getting recorded in, getting, you know, all original songs, and what else? I had another one. Yeah, Rob's not very well, so he was having a drummer in the Sabbath band was having an operation a couple of days before it, so he wasn't going to be able to drink at it and stuff like that. So you know, it works out all right. it's just really, I think what I'm going to suggest to the guys in the Sabbath band that we're pretty much rock solid and playing. We're amazing in the studio last night. So I think maybe we should be looking at doing some sort of promo video type thing. We would just run through the set. Yeah, maybe even if it's just to be stick it on the the Facebook page, but maybe stick it on here as well. You wouldn't mind. I'm sure some of you wouldn't mind sitting through a 45-minute Black Sabbath set with yours truly on bass. So yeah, I was really looking forward to it, but I mean it's not cancelled. It's just delayed for a good reason. So I don't know. I mean, well, I'm not. It'll be all right. I'm looking forward to getting a bit more time, which it was bad timing for Cranking House because we had this sort of gig to do. It was like I don't know, 2 months away, and then Pat the singer was off doing the West Hill. We weren't able to go in for like 3 weeks, and then we had a couple of weeks in, and then Nick the bass player's now away down to back home to see his dad in Wales. So we're kind of missing out a couple as well. So we're really talking about only having had 4 or 5 rehearsals all in since January 2020, something like that, or whatever it is, February. So well, yeah, I was looking forward to it, but I mean, you can't be having a music festival when you can't be playing gigs in pubs. So whenever gigs are back on again, Sabbath's ready to go. So if you're looking for a Black Sabbath band, currently we've got about an hour and 10 minutes set of pure nails, but there's other songs we want to do as well. We've been looking at doing some more obscure ones. The thing is about Black Sabbath, so many of their songs are good. They've kind of got that Creedence Clearwater thing going on, whereas if you're not, it's not like some bands have got like 1 or 2 songs that are hits and are great, and then the rest are all bland or in the middle somewhere. This is have I just driven past? No, I think it's this next one. Sabbath are just like album tracks. I mean, pretty much the first, pretty much unarguably the first 6 albums only have a couple of sort of fillery type songs. All the rest are really good and all quite different. And then I like 7. I think 7's amazing as well. Technical Ecstasy. I Never Say Die, maybe a little bit patchy, but still got its moments. There's still a few songs I'd like to do off it. So I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, I've been really enjoying going to the studio. It's just it's great being up to scratch again. It seems to have been years since I've really been, confident and dying to get out gigging. Like maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years probably since the last time I was really in a band that I really thought, right, totally really want to show off this. Where you get to the point where you're no longer worrying about what the next bit of the song is. You're now getting to the bit of going like, all right, should I be going dun 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 or dun 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 dun? That wee niggles, and it's like the more you play these things, the better you get at them, and it all makes more sense and it all ties in really nicely. Right, I've let that woman go. And she's waited until there we go. Could have been both cars, but there you go. I'm not slagging off that Merriman. I'm going to take this because there's folk waiting behind me. Women are not all bad drivers. That one was. Right, so am I going to remember how to get here? Am I going to recognise the... I'm not recognising this, but I think I've made a mistake. Okay, I'll not bother being lost. Hey YouTube, this is an interesting day already. I was round at Scott's yesterday. I think he's probably in the shop. It's quite white.
Fox thing.
I did do that. The kitchen. Yeah, so I forgot my stuff, the camera, my phone, my wallet, my computer, basically everything. I remember the curry last night, so and poppadoms, which I ate last night. So now heading back, and the plan was I was going to pick up Rob the drummer, and then go and see Scott. Then we're going to go and do a trade Tuesday. I'm going to go and pick up a guitar at my other pal's house, and I didn't have my phone, obviously, because it was at Scott's, and Rob gave me the wrong, one of the letters was wrong in the postcode, so I sat outside some street that wasn't his for 10 minutes peeping everywhere and couldn't find him, and then I've now driven, so now we're going back to get Rob, and then
back on track again, back to night again.
But then back to Scott's again, and then we're going down to Ali's and we're going to get a guitar. It's fun, isn't it? It's a nice day, it's nice out for a drive, and I'm finding the whole thing very amusing. But it's amazing, see, when you don't have your phone. It's like I was talking to who was probably not Rob's neighbour. I was like, do you know a guy who plays drums called Rob? And he's got, do you want to borrow my phone? It's like, I can't, I've no idea what his phone number is because it's in my phone. So, rockin', see you soon. This should be an interesting video. Hey, that was quite an adventure. Big day. So the plan was, yesterday, have I talked about this? I have. I talked about when I was going to go and pick up Rob, the drummer from Black Sabbath band, after the end came in, and we were going to go, and I was going to get my phone and my computer, which I'd left at Scott's house. Well, I went to Rob's house, and his house is number 50, I think it was his girlfriend's house actually, was number 59 on a street that only had 40 houses on it. And as I said, I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't phone him, message him and say, what's up? And it turns out that he'd given me a postcode, and I'd asked him, what street and house number, and he'd just given me the house number. So he'd actually got one of the letters wrong in the postcode. It was a P instead of a Q. So I sat for 10 minutes and he'd said house 59. So I figured maybe he'd mistyped the 5. So I sat and peeped the horn and talked to his neighbour, or talked to the people on a random street. They asked us, you're Rob, is that, what's his second name? And it's like, oh God, I don't know his second name. He uses a different name from on YouTube. He's got a sort of comedy name on YouTube, on Facebook. I've never really got it. Rob the drummer. Rob plays drums. Just asking random people on the street. Don't know anyone called Rob played drums in this street. So I ended up going to East Kilbride anyway. See Scott, phoned him up. It turned out he'd just got a letter wrong. So we went back with Scott, which I think I actually got a bit of video for. Went back, got Rob, went back to Scott's, had a bit of a laugh, and then went down to pick up the Ibanez. What do you call it? SE series. Beautiful looking guitar, and I thought, Rob's there, he plays bass, Ali plays drums, blah blah blah, so it's going to do a bit of a demo, but the guitar needs a bit of setup. It's I think it might be set up for a like E flat or something like that, so I tried to tune it up and the bridge was going all over the place, so I never actually got a demo of it. So tomorrow, Trade Tuesdays, this might be Trade Tuesday. I was going to do this as a Trade Tuesday video, maybe I will, because I did actually go and get a guitar that I traded, so so a wee bit of a journey there. Good fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach them. Trying to look over my shoulder. I put a guitar on top of it. So Rob a couple of weeks ago mentioned something about buying something. He'd asked me what shoe size I was, which I thought was quite a personal question. It turns out he bought a pair of shoes and he bought them, they were too small for him. So I don't want these shoes. Would you wear them? Yeah. So they're on the floor. Tell you what, I'm that excited to show off my shoes. I've not actually had a proper look at them. I'm going to pull in here for 2 seconds. Oh, the lights are green though. No, I'll go through the light first. I bet I get stopped at the lights now. If I get stopped at the lights, I can look the shoes at. Give me 2 seconds. This is a famous part of Glasgow and Steps, and I bet he's not there now, but for many, many years there was a wee Paddington in that window there, like when I was a wee boy, and he's still there. I think everyone used to sit there. Apparently that Paddington, folk used to give it Christmas cards and all that because it was something to look at, and whoever it was, the owner was, we're probably talking 35 years ago, and it was like occasionally it would be like, we'd be wearing like waterproofs, and then sometimes it'd be dressed as a pirate, and then every month or something like that they would dress this Paddington bear that sat in someone's front room right at the lights. So you're sitting there bored waiting at the lights and just looking to see what Paddington's doing. I'm quite happy he's still there. I wonder if it's still the same people who own the house, or it was like a condition of you buying the house. It's like, yeah, lovely house, and there's like, yeah, well, see, for 30 years I've been putting this Paddington bear in the window and everyone keeps commenting on it and leaving presents and stuff. So the new owner must have just kept must have thought that was a cheesy idea. To be honest, I would have done that. If I bought a house that had, you know, a stuffed Paddington Bear in the window for 30 years and everyone would, I would do it just out of silliness. I'm annoyed I can't, there really isn't that much on the back seat, so the fact that I can't find a pair of shoes is a bit annoying. So I'm now just rummaging about. That used to be a can of de-icer. There's nothing on the roads. Right, I'm just going to pull in here for 2 seconds to get about. It's worth it, honestly, because I'm not a shoes guy. I do wear shoes almost every day, but let's be honest, every day I wear shoes. Look at day and age. Alright. I'm about the road. Yeah. Now these shoes are worth talking about. Right, so Converse All Stars, Black Sabbath Converse All Stars. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Can't say when I bought them, but I mean, yeah, and it's like if you look at the inside, you can see it's got like photos of the band in the inside. And I don't know. I'm not wearing them. Well, I'll wear them at gigs, I think maybe. That's pretty cool. So cheers, Rob. I actually forgot. I ended up rabbiting away to Rob for basically all day. Basically just hanging about with a pal. It's great seeing, like, just having like folk. I got on really well. I think so. I do anyway think I got on really well with the guys in the two bands I'm in. And it's great actually get to talk to them outside rather than the wee 5 minutes. You know, when you're in the studio, you kind of want to play and you want to talk about what you're doing musically and stuff like that. So you don't actually often get, you know, a couple of hours sitting chatting to somebody, to a band member. I'm sure that it must have. I can imagine quite a lot of bands probably fall out once they get big. You know what I mean? And they end up having to go to tours and they're touring all Europe. Not that that's going to happen ever again, but you know, it's like you're in a bus for 6 hours and 10 hours at a time and stuff like that. I'm sure you'd probably get pretty sick of each other, but when you're in wee bands that are kicking about up here, you don't ever really get any chance to talk to the other members in a social setting. It was quite good when we went down with see Ali, who's the drummer in Cranking House, which is the other band I play in. I play guitar in that one. And Rob and Ali know each other, so it was quite nice sitting down there for a couple of hours and showing us his studio, and we're looking at the venue for this party, which has now been cancelled, the one that both bands were playing at. But it really, part of the thing about that party was it's the end of all this COVID rubbish, and I don't, in 2 weeks time it's still going to be going on, so hopefully 3 months later we'll be on, and that'll be a good one. So I need to contact a couple of my pals who are meant to be going, but also in 3 months time I reckon that means Wayne can come. Wayne, you can come to the party, to the gig, because he was I think he seemed to be quite upbeat the other day. I was talking to him. He had a stent, some sort of heart operation thing. And I was like, we've got this gig, and he's like, it's only 8 weeks after the operation, or 6 weeks. He's meant to leave it 12 weeks before he did it, and even then, I think after like a heart operation, you don't really want to be driving all the way from Leicester to Glasgow, really, if you can avoid it. And also the whole thing, if you're not going to be well, you don't want to be miles away from anything. You know, it's probably, Ali must be a good half hour away from the motorway sort of thing, and then on the motorway probably another half hour from Glasgow, maybe not quite as much as that. I'm sure he said he managed to do it one night, coming back from the studio. He managed to do it in 45 minutes, because I think it was only about the second or third week I was in the band, and I got home and I was like looking at a photo from Ali, and it's him standing in the studio with a bottle of Bacardi like that, pure record type home. Every set of lights was in his favour, there was no traffic in the way and all that. So hence I coined the term Bacardi Haze in a Bacardi and became Bacardi Haze Studios. So it's now his barn. It's called Bacardi Haze, and he even made t-shirts. So that's it, cemented in fact that is Bacardi Haze Studios. Lovely. And even more amazing, driving. This, it might not be amazing. Maybe most folk wouldn't find this amazing. I did. Made Maddie. I had a great day anyway, but going past the bit that go down between beside a golf course before you get to Ali's, I saw something blow across the middle of the road. This is like in the middle. It's a 30-mile-an-hour road, kind of out in the middle of nowhere between two golf courses. I was like, that in the mirror. I see it. Up here, stop. Stopped. Reversed 200 yards. Rob, make sure that wasn't a tenner I just saw blow past in the middle of nowhere, and it was. Yeah. So there you go for being observant. I spotted a tenner when I was driving at 30 mile an hour down beside a golf course, blowing across the road. But I just looked at it in the rear view mirror. I saw a wee glint of it because of the wee window in it. So it's like, I think even if I was a very rich person, you still find a tenner like that. Yeah. So finding a tenner, what a buzz. Yeah, so what's this video going to be? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll edit it all together. It's a bit of a hodgepodge done over 3 days, and maybe the Trade Tuesday thing. It gets the car thing, and it's an Ibanez SA something. Quite a lot of binding on it. Does need set up, and it's a set neck, and it looks really good. It's a pity it didn't tune, but when you're sitting there and it's like, you know, waiting and really didn't have time to sit or wasn't in the mood to sit and fidget with a screwdriver and that to try and make it all work properly. Rock and roll, that's me almost heading up the road now. Tempted to get a kebab, but I had a curry last night, so I'm definitely not getting a kebab. That was the curry that I remembered to take home, whereas I forgot to take home the bag that had my laptop, my mic, my camera, this GoPro and my phone in it. Rocking. Catch you all later. This will be just leaving Kirky, if you want. Hey YouTube, I'm just editing that video. There you can see it on the screen before it goes up tonight. This is now actually Tuesday. I decided just to stick with board editing, so I just stuck all the bits I did in the car during the week there all together, and I figured I might as well play something at the end. I've actually done a better long video of this guitar. This is the Ibanez I was talking about in the car. I've done a longer video of this, which I'll put up later on in the week, something like that. So this is just a quick wee, so there's some music in the video. Yeah, so 2006 SAS 36 FM. FM's some flamed maple, some whatever it is. So quite a thin guitar, set neck, pretty good. Also, I was talking about these in the car, I forgot, I meant to mention them in the live stream. Black Sabbath stitched on there, and if you look on the inside there, it's like it's got like newspaper photos of the band. Yeah, pretty cool. So I will be wearing these at the next rehearsal, I think. I'm going to keep them good. And also I found out to see the Converse I've been buying recently, they weigh twice the cheap ones I've been buying for 14 quid. So the ones you buy off eBay for 14 quid, I see the camera's gone a bit iffy. I need to do something about that. Get a wee bit of flashes of it's not the drugs, honestly. Yeah, so hopefully this will keep going. Hopefully it won't get any worse. So here we go, I'm just going to play a wee. That's in position 2 with the coil split thing on, so we're going to position 4. modes. And a fuzz pedal thing. Another fuzz pedal. So this guitar is actually really nice. That's, so are most Ibanez's of this category. I don't know what you even know what you call this, but really easy to play. Really thin neck. Lends itself to doing the shred, which I can't do. I was tempted to try and play. Was it Spaceship One? And that's what I can't remember. See, that's why I didn't attempt to do Spaceship One. It's a Paul Gilbert song. If you've not seen that, look up Paul Gilbert Spaceship One. It's one where it's just they recorded the video like in a rehearsal studio, but they're all wearing space suits, and it's really good. It's a really silly song. Also, I mean, this guitar is it's so wee feeling. I mean, it's full scale and all that, and it's amazing when you just shave it off to make it quite a bit thinner with the carved top and the body. I mean, if you compare it to a Strat, it's just a lot. There's just so let's look at the difference in thickness and just size wise. It's so much. It's so wee. Fantastic, but amazing for like a Nuno Bettencourt type, where you're not particularly tall. Something like this would probably be really good. So as soon as it's Trade Tuesday, I should probably run through some of the tradey things. I guess this is up for it. I've got too many guitars. It's like to have this one as well. If you only had one guitar, then it's going to kind of cover all the bases. This one it's kind of Stratty. So it's like, you know, it's like this. Maybe without the fuzz pedal. got the sort of, it's got the stratiness. Push the neck back up. It's got this true dual bucker in it. So but it does the stratty thing, and then obviously it's got the distortion. It's got the bucker in it, so it can do the heavier stuff. There's not really anything that would do to mod this. It's like often with these guitars, I say you'll put in a coil split or something, or adding an extra pickup or an extra switch or something. It's like, yeah, I really don't want to. I don't want to damage its elegant simplicity. You know, like 5-way lever, volume and a tone. There you go. And this tone control's got a push pull on it to split this to a single coil, which I'm not really sure it really needed it. It does make a difference. Yeah, so in trading I've got the Squier Showmaster, which actually I put up for sale last week. No, there's no interest in it. I only put it up for like a couple hours, and I got into trouble from a guy who's up here. You're not charging enough money for that. Look at all the work you put into it. Blah blah blah. It should be 200 quid at least. So after he said it's a couple of times, I'm like, sorry, so I pulled it, and I'll put it up for a little bit more, but I'll put it up at the end of the month so that it sells. Awesome guitar, Squier Showmaster neck, Coil Ladder 25 switching system. That sounded really bad. Or it was just, I thought it smashed it off the Ibanez. I didn't. I just broke the light fitting with the headstock. Yeah, that's okay. It's about time I got rid of that light. It's absolutely minging. It really is. It's horrible looking thing. Just looks like one of Madonna's boobs. But hey, if you just put a bare light bulb, it pure burns the top of your head. Also, this is a DeVille Strat, which I've put my own videos for these coming up later. This one has one switch, which actually I did a competition. Well done, Ruben, I think the guy's name was. Won a free T-shirt from guessing what this switch did. A few folk had a good few guesses. He was the first one to get it actually right. What it actually does is, in position 1, back away, it's a humbucker and a volume control. In position 2, it splits this to a single coil and adds in the neck, so it gives you the two best sounds of a Squier 51 basically, which is the same layout. It's a single coil and a humbucker, so it gives you the two of these. Gives you sort of telly position middle, sort of a wee bit like position 4 on a Strat or something like that, and humbucker. But this guitar is excellent. I'm not sure what to do with it. It should be trading, but it's like, it's really nice. It's like, see when you get like a really nice guitar that's really cheap and not worth very much money, it's very difficult to get rid of it because you go, it's like, I'm not going to get much for it, but it's really cool. It's also, if I can, I tried to dig this out in the other video which I did the other day, which I've not put up yet. See if I can dig this out without disconnecting anything. It's just that lead that runs into the tail is in the way. Is it gonna come on? Come on top of it. There we go. Yeah, so this is my current favourite telly just now. Partly because of the colour, and really they kind of go too well together, don't they? They really do. Also, which I didn't find until after I'd actually wired the guitar up, I did find that this cover, which is what I put on the telly in there. So, well, it's the same. I'm holding the telly. You can see that's what I put on there. So that kind of make the two of them match really well if I put that on that. I've been messing about with this guitar. I need to try it out again. It wasn't really working last night. Seemed a bit bright, and I'd used a 500k pot, so I swapped it out for a 250. Thinking, because apparently 250s make it a little bit less bright. You know, if your guitar's too muddy, you want to put in a higher value pot which will brighten up, but if your guitar's too bright, you want to brighten the other way down. So it's like, I'm still not 100% there with this guitar. I don't think, I need to try it at volume. You can't, when it's at midnight and you've got the amp barely on, you can't really get a good feeling of what the sound of the guitar's like. But I'm kind of looking forward to getting this one up and working. Also put some foam in the back. It was really annoying to see the springs and Strats. I don't remember ever noticing this before. It wasn't until I got the Fender one. My pal Jerry told me about this before. So it's really annoying when you hit a chord and then mute it. It goes in the background because the springs in the back are vibrating. That's what apparently Clapton likes that. So when you buy a Clapton signature Strat, he never uses the trem. Apparently doesn't put the bar in, but likes the springs in the back, giving it that airiness. Or you can stick a bit of polished iron in to stop them, so they don't ping anymore. I don't actually have a trem arm for this one anyway, but the foam wouldn't get in the way of the trem working. It just stops the springs making a noise. Yeah, so that was Trade Tuesday. Got some guitar playing in, bit of a ramble in the car. I found a tenor and I got shoes and I went and hung about. The only thing I'm annoyed about is I either forgot to, I think I was just too busy talking. I should have got a bit of video with me, Rob, and Scott in the Mighty Panda. Panda did very well. I get 3 big guys in it. I should have done a bit of that video. Just got carried away. I think the 3 of us were just talking the whole time. Didn't actually have a chance to get video. So rock on. See you. I'll be on the live stream on Sunday. There'll be a Fuzz Thursday's already done, so that'll be time travelling episodes. The one of those 2 guitars, the Strat and the Ibanez, will be time travel episodes as well. So I don't know what it is. I've got one for an acoustic as well. It's like I can't put more than 1 video out a day, but it's like I seem to have more videos than I need. That's really annoying. Maybe I should set up a Discord and charge folk money to see them, something like that. Like and subscribe and stuff. Be rocking. I'm nearly at 2,000 subs, and I'll do something for the 2,000 subs. I don't know, do a wee dance or something. Rocking. Catch you later.